All right, this is a slideshow for Chapter 10 dealing with career success. There are some vital things that you need to keep in mind as you prepare to eventually graduate and head off to a career, or maybe you're taking this class, you're already in a career and you're doing it for professional enrichment or to get some sort of promotion in your job. Whatever it is, I think it's important for everyone to understand what it takes to be successful in a career. It's not just getting a job and then existing day by day, going to the job and coming home. But obviously, in any job that we do, we want to be successful because success on the job means job security, it means promotions, and it enhances your credibility as a worker. So let's take a look at some of the things when it comes to having a career. One of the things is to develop a good reputation, as mentioned in the textbook. I always say go the extra mile. And what I mean by that is do more than you initially are asked to do. If you find things that will benefit the company, that's always a plus to people in upper management and ownership. And it shows that you're dedicated to the job. Now, there is a fine line between a work-life balance that needs to be maintained. You don't want to be overly zealous or overly dedicated to the company. But if you find yourself having the opportunity to do things that make you indispensable, those are the kind of things that you want to do because it bears well on how people look at you, and especially, again, people higher up. Also, people will gladly recommend you to other people if you have good character and a good work ethic. So in terms of internal advancement, if that's what you're looking for, that's something that will help you in terms of advancing in a job. Or if you're looking to make some sort of move outside of the company and leave on good terms, you can generally get really good recommendations from former employers when it comes to reputation. So, don't do things that are going to jeopardize your reputation. Some people have the attitude of, well, I'm leaving this company and I'll do whatever I want. And so they make a terrible decision about what they do when they leave a company. And that doesn't bear well because if a company that you are looking to be employed with contacts a former employer and gets a bad recommendation, that can obviously ruin your opportunity to make a step up in your career. Also, managing your online identity. And we talked about social media in chapter 2. We talked about how the identity that we maintain through various social media accounts portrays to other people who we are. And even though we might be trying to promote a certain image, that's not necessarily us. The best thing to do is to be true to yourself when you establish an online identity and be consistent across social media. Probably the best thing is to obviously be smart about what you post, but also be smart about what social media accounts you participate in. Some of them have certain reputations for being a particular way or a type of social media and the type of people that utilize that. So be careful about what you do. Probably from a professional standpoint, something like LinkedIn is going to be your best opportunity to establish an identity that employers will look at, but also be careful about other social media, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever it is, where people tend to get a little crazy on there. It was interesting to note in the chapter that the New York Times found that 70% of people who are hiring applicants reject those applicants because of their personal online information, their personal identity. So this is a thing that companies are doing now, is they're checking your online identity. They want to see how you portray yourself and how others perceive you through social media. So really be careful about that. Your online posts are a reflection of who you are, even though it may not actually be the image of you when you're talking about your perceived image or a particular public image that you have. But even though you don't intend to portray yourself in a particular way, if others get that perception of you, that could be damaging to your online identity, your credibility ultimately. One thing that the book does recommend is that if you have a name similar to someone else who has problems or creates problems, then you probably want to do something in your online identity, your name, that distinguishes you from this person who might already have a bad reputation. So one of the things they suggest, for example, is including your middle initial or even your middle name as a way to distinguish yourself from that person. And then the last thing we want to talk about is cultivating a professional network. Networking is a big key to having career success, especially if you're starting out. Knowing people is important. My experience, and I will share this with you, and you can take it with a grain of salt if you want, but it's important to know things that relate to your job. But I find that more times, more so than not, it's not what you know, but it's who you know that's at least equally important, if not more important. Because these are the people that can get the doors open for you. And again, it goes back to if you have a good reputation or a good prior reputation going into that, people will check you out if they're interested in you. And that's the case, then the ability to make those connections with people who can open doors for you is invaluable. It's just something that is really important. So take every opportunity you can to network face to face. For example, the college had an event here last week during homecoming week, and it was called Business After Hours. And you may have heard about it, or you may have attended it if you were in the area. But what they did was bring in professionals from the Scottsbluff Gearing area. These professionals came in, and the students came to this event and had a chance to interact with people in their field of study and their future field. And so, I encourage my students to go in my face-to-face classes, the ones I knew that were here. I didn't necessarily promote it in the online class because some of you are not in the area. So, but for those people who live in the area, had an opportunity to go and to network with people. If you ever get that opportunity to do something like that, you want to make sure you take advantage of that. Or if you have an opportunity also to engage in online networking, like again through LinkedIn, if you follow certain people and maybe you make connections with them. These are people who may or may not be able to open doors for you, but they'll also be able to share valuable experience in the field with you if you ask. Most people are happy to share that sort of information. So networking, it's really important. The other thing that I always suggest to people is to have, and you may have heard the term before, but have an elevator speech prepared. And it's not necessarily a speech per se, but the scenario is that if you were stepped into an elevator going somewhere up a building, and someone from the company that you're interested in getting a job with steps in, for example, a manager or a boss, and you had 1 minute to talk to them about you, how would you sell yourself to this person? Obviously not grovel for a job, but to promote yourself. And this is what they refer to as an elevator speech. So it's like a 1 minute spiel about yourself and how you as an employer would be a valuable asset to any company. And if you have an elevator speech prepared, anytime you have the opportunity to network, you have an opportunity to sell yourself. So these are the things that go into uh, having success in a career, things that will lead you down the path that you want to go about. And if you follow these things, you will definitely increase your chances of having a successful career in the future.